Hi everyone, and welcome to the Qatar Financial Center, one of the world's leading and fastest growing onshore business and financial centers located right here in the capital Doha, which is set to make sports history in 2022 by hosting the world's most beautiful game, the FIFA World Cup. My name is Hala Kassab. I'm the head of marketing at the QFC, and I'll be your host today. For those of you who have not yet visited the country or who don't know much about it, well, let me assure you that Qatar is a lot more than just football, exquisite Arabian landscapes, award-winning architectural skylines, and oil and gas. Although on that front too, Qatar is one of the world's leading LNG exporters. The peninsula, which is home to more than 2.6 million residents from over 80 nationalities worldwide, is a buzzing hub of activity and international startups across a wide range of industries, from fintech to media to sports, digital and technology, and a lot more. And with a $200 billion mega infrastructure investment program to boot. Briefly put, a super economy that is powered by future forward thinking. Just imagine the possibilities. In today's edition of our masterclass, we'll be talking to you about the state of the nation's economy, its resilience, its growth, and why it keeps attracting international foreign direct investment from around the globe, which grew by over 27% between 2016 and 2017, a sure sign to why Qatar remains one of the world's most dynamic economies. Today, I'm very honored to welcome Sara Durrani, Chief Marketing and Corporate Communications Officer of the Qatar Financial Center, who will talk to us about Qatar's robust economic climate. Kamal Fayed, Director at PwC, one of the world's largest professional business services, and Asim Mirza, Director of Client Affairs at the Qatar Financial Center, who will talk to us about QFC's competitive, swift, and world-class licensing and post-licensing process. But before we start, I'm sure for all of you who have tuned in from around the world, you may have a lot of questions for us today. We'll be more than happy to take these if you pop them over in the chat box right next to the screen. Sara, welcome to the show. Qatar is undoubtedly recognized as being at the forefront of attracting international business and investment. Qatar, in fact, remains open to business and means business. Ranking first on the Global Entrepreneurship Index, named the best and most important financial market in the Arab world, and one of the top 10 financial markets worldwide. Can you please give us a general view of Qatar's economic climate?
Thank you for having me, Hala. It's wonderful to be here and to speak about Qatar in today's market. Definitely a lot of exciting opportunities. I also want to take a moment to thank our viewers. Thank you for joining us today. Well, as you mentioned, Qatar is one of the fastest booming economies in the world. It actually had a GDP growth last year in 2018 of 2.4%. And even more impressively, this year, the International Monetary Fund is projecting its growth to be at 3.1%. It's definitely the second most competitive economy in the region. And there's a lot of opportunities that businesses can tap into. So the reason for this propelled growth, one of the strongest catalysts, was Qatar's $200 billion investments in its infrastructure. And this ranges from direct investments from construction companies to indirect investments by services that support the infrastructure development in the nation today. And this was all geared towards preparing for the FIFA 2022 World Cup, which of course is going to be one of the most exciting and highlight events Qatar and the region has seen. So yes, absolutely. So we have a lot of opportunities in the market that businesses can tap into, and it really is supported by the government. QFC specifically has the platform for businesses to reach into what is a multi-million-dollar incentive program. And this incentive program can range from lending office spaces for free to seed capital investment, as well as tax relief. So, of course, apart from all of these great benefits, there's a lot more that Qatar has to offer, and I'll be sharing that in this program.
That's fantastic, Sara. Thank you so much. It's great to hear that the economy continues to grow from strength to strength. Like many others, I have lived in Qatar for the largest part of my life, and I've been very fortunate to be part of its growth journey. At the QFC as well, we saw a 31% increase in businesses that have set up on our platform by end of 2018, another record growth. Clearly, international firms are seeing the benefits of setting up businesses in Qatar, and I tend to believe that there hasn't been a better time to be here than now. Sara, what exactly, in your view, that makes Qatar an attractive destination for investors today?
Qatar is an attractive regional hub for the global investment market, and there's several reasons why. It signed over 70 double tax agreements with nations across the world, and the QFC as well has signed these agreements. It also has offered recently in its reform program over the last couple of years, over 88 visas on arrivals to nations globally. Qatar has always invested in Asia, the Americas, and Europe, but more recently, we're seeing a new investment in regional markets. The QFC specifically has taken a strategic interest in these markets. We call this market the New Emerging Belt Initiative. It includes Turkey, Oman, Kuwait, India, Pakistan, just to name a few. And the value of this market is about 2.1 trillion US dollars, wow, which is a significant amount.
I'm sure.
We're very excited about all these new opportunities. And in fact, Qatar has also opened up new trade routes to these markets and globally. So it's expanding, and it's expanding very quickly. And the QFC is expanding with it.
Sarah, thank you. Well, as they say, the world is our oyster, really. Qatar is home to one of the world's leading and most trusted international airlines, Qatar Airways. The Hamad International Airport, one of the world's top 5, sees more than 37 million passengers a year, many of which visit Qatar for a vacation to see its many attractions, such as the Museum of Islamic Art, the traditional Souk Waqif, and the architectural jewel and newly opened National Museum of Qatar. I think it's safe to say that amongst the global community in the know, Qatar is definitely on the map with regards to being a place of increasing opportunities. But I'm sure many of you would wonder, what about the current geopolitical situation? Sarah, I have 2 questions for you here. It's quite complex nowadays. How do you think Qatar has overcome these challenges? And what is, in your opinion, the perception of the international business community?
I believe Qatar has already overcome these challenges and has very strong cases of having done so in 2018 and continues to do so. You mentioned Hamad International Airport. It is certainly a hub. It continues to fly to over 150 destinations and continues to expand its routes. And what also came online last year, which made a significant impact in Qatar's trade, foreign trade, is Hamad International Port. It is one of the most innovative ports in the world. I believe it ranks as number 8, and it has reduced the amount of time that it takes for shipments to arrive to Qatar. One case in point is that a mega ship from China can be in Qatar within 20 days. So there's been a lot of development and investment in such infrastructures, which has helped to boost the economy. But there's also indication from international rating agencies about the resilience of Qatar's economy. Fitch, Moody's, S&P in 2018, they ranked Qatar as a AA rating. And in January of 2019 this year, S&P and Moody as well continue to have a stable outlook on the economy. There are other examples that demonstrate Qatar continues to show resilience and a strong economy. Its stock exchange was actually the #1 globally performing in the world last year.
That's fantastic.
Yes, investors actually received a 20% return from the stock market. And as well as there's other indicators of Qatar's strong resilience to the economy. Last year, it ranked as the world's financially safest place to do business, and this is by the Global Financial Safety Index. So I believe that the numbers speak for themselves. The rating agencies also as well support Qatar's strength and continued growth, projected growth. So the future looks very exciting and promising.
That's super impressive. Ever since the blockade, Qatar has introduced market liberalization reforms at an exponential rate, unlike any other. Thanks, Sarah. We have a question from the audience. John from Ireland. He's very interested to ask you, for a company that's setting up in Qatar, is it just about the Qatar market, or is it a launch pad into other markets regionally?
Thank you, Hala, and thank you, John, for your question. I would say it's actually both. When business decision makers consider Qatar, they're not just considering the booming economy that Qatar has to offer, they're actually taking into their decision making the regional aspect and the opportunities that are presented. I mentioned a little bit earlier about the Nebi Belt, which the QFC has strategically focused its attention towards. But there's also, of course, the access from east to west and west to east to Asia's booming market. We had earlier discussed about the Qatar Airways being flying over to 150 destinations and the Hamad port. It's really easy to maneuver and to be able to trade with several countries now because of these mega infrastructures that are now made available. So I would say certainly both are very important for businesses when they consider Qatar as a market to expand to.
Well, thanks, Sarah. I mean, just on the new Emerging Belt Initiative, the latest project of the Qatar Financial Center, allowing access to a regional market worth over $2.1 trillion in GDP value. Sarah, thank you for your valuable insight. I'll come back to you very shortly to talk about the Qatar Financial Center as a platform. I'm quite keen now to start the discussion with Kamal Fayed, a director at PwC. PwC is one of over 600 firms listed at the Qatar Financial Center. Kamal, hi, welcome.
Hello.
Well, there are certainly a lot of benefits for companies located in Qatar to list at the Qatar Financial Center. We're going to get Kamal's views in a minute about this. Like myself and many others, Kamal, you're one of the millions of expats who call Qatar home today. And I believe you tend to agree that we are very fortunate to be living here during one of the most exciting times in Qatar's history. You work for one of the largest professional business services in the world, needs no introduction. What has that been like for you?
Well, PwC in the firm, we operate as a one firm across 12 territories. So, and what that means to me is basically I had the chance to work in 4 different offices over the past 15 years and actually do engagements or advise clients across the 12 territories. So that for me has been a very enriching experience, working on transformational projects and iconic engagements, working with the public and private sector across the region.
Well, I mean, we were chatting right before our masterclass, and you mentioned that PwC has been here for decades.
Yeah.
At one point in time, it has decided as well to get a license at the Qatar Financial Center.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the benefits of choosing to set up in the state of Qatar with this hugely dynamic market? And at one point in time, PwC's journey with the Qatar Financial Center?
Yeah, so as you said rightly, PwC has been in Qatar for 40 years now. And actually, Qatar today is our largest growing market in the Middle East and we have special focus across all our line of service to kind of serve this very exciting opportunity in Qatar. So we hold license QFC number 13, and we were one of the early birds on QFC. And really, this is all from the foreign ownership laws, the 100% ownership laws that the QFC offers, and as well as the English laws. It makes it a little bit more easier for international businesses such as PwC to operate. Obviously, that's in addition to the various logistical facilities or benefits that the QFC brings on board, from easy stuff to opening a bank accounts overnight, to immigration rules, as well as NOCs and the various logistical on-the-ground stuff to get people in and out. We have 300 employees here, and it's easy to manage with the QFC setup now.
Kamal, that's a great journey indeed. And I'm sure PwC has also witnessed the benefits of the licensing and post-licensing process at the Qatar Financial Center. In a minute, we'll be talking to Asim Mirza, Director of Client Affairs, who will share with us a lot more details about why it is one of the most competitive in the region, actually. In a nutshell, can you please tell us about the key success stories of PwC in Qatar and eventually with the Qatar Financial Center?
Yeah, we've been obviously here for 40 years, and we worked on a number of iconic projects with in Qatar. But I will just kind of name a few most recent ones that PwC has been involved on. Firstly, I will mention our involvement in the setup of the General Tax Authority with the Ministry of Finance. So that was a PwC-led an effort. We've also worked on the drafting of the PPP rule book with the Ministry of Finance, which basically bring the public-private partnership to life, given the new direction of bringing more private sector participation into the market. And lastly, obviously, our involvement with the Ministry of Health on its planning and for its facilities for the 30-year kind of plan with the Ministry of Health, including e-health as well.
That's extremely interesting, Kamal. Earlier this year, PwC's localization and in-country value document on Qatar explained how the nation could take advantage of its natural resources to create more jobs, strengthen local suppliers and ecosystems, build human capital, as well as diversify and grow the economy. My question to you, Kamal, one point the document raised is the importance of fostering a business-friendly environment to enhance the ease of doing business and attracting FDIs, which is, of course, a key area for Qatar and the Qatar Financial Center. The Qatari market continues to grow and is currently bursting with opportunity. In your view, what do you believe are the key reasons for this?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, yourself and Sarah have touched directly on some of the key drivers of the economy, be it the economic reforms, obviously the World Cup, the 200 billion infrastructure fund. There's obviously a number of other opportunities that we can see in the market today that are driving this growth, be it the rollout of 5G, the expansion of the LNG project, and most importantly, this drive to self-sufficiency and food security, so the investment in the local market and driving really local supplies. We mentioned localization, and we could see as well a number of consolidation play in the market. So these are all levers that we can see in the market driving activity.
Mm-hmm. For years, PwC has equipped leaders with insights that help them make informed decisions on a wide range of industries. So PwC is well known to produce some of the most insightful research, such as the CEO survey, Digital Trust Insight surveys, and many others. Your 22nd CEO survey, Kamal, at PwC, highlights the importance of investing in upskilling people to reap the benefits of an investment in digital economy.
Yeah.
Can you please explain what types of skills you mean and how this can support Qatar's long-term growth, particularly for the youth?
So obviously digital today is the biggest disruptor to any business and to any economy. And PwC is very well at the heart of, formulating a strategy around digital and around enabling people for the next generation. So what we are really preaching at PwC is an upskilling, if you want, culture where people have to train and change their mindset in terms of how we either do business or deliver business to acquire it in a digital world. In terms of how we believe this will affect, if you want, the youth or the upcoming generation, I think schools and parents will have to be really direct their children towards STEM skills, so science, technology, engineering and math, which will enable them to become tech savvy. But more importantly, they have to also help them live a culture of creativity and a long time change, as we believe this is the next fundamental skills for the future.
That's actually quite important and works perfectly well with the Qatar National Vision 2030, which aims at creating a more sustainable future for all. Thank you very much, Kamal. You have shared quite a number of key points, which I'm sure our audience really appreciate. And now on to Asim Mirza, Director of Client Affairs at the Qatar Financial Center. Thank you for being with us on the show, Asim. For those of you who don't know Asim, he is, of course, the person responsible for ensuring that companies like PwC continue to thrive on the Qatar Financial Center platform and in the state of Qatar. Asim, how long have you lived in Qatar?
I've been here now for 10 and a half years.
Wow.
I came in November 2008. I was originally part of a startup. So, as the country grew, I was able to actually be part of a business which started from zero and actually really establish itself as one of the primary businesses here in Qatar. So it's been a very, very enlightening and enriched experience.
Of course. As a family man, what have been some of the many advantages of living here? Is it education, healthcare, just general lifestyle?
I think the quality of life is amazing, especially if you've got young children. You mentioned financial safety before, but actually security from a family point of view in Qatar is fantastic. My kids came when they were quite young, and as a young family, we've really enjoyed the ability to integrate, enjoy the environment, except in the summer, but enjoy the environment and the ability to go outdoors and do things together, but in an extremely safe environment where you're not worried about what's going to happen, etc. But at the same time, it's been exciting to see the country grow. Everything from schools to hospitals to malls to the way buildings come up overnight, roads change overnight. it's just been an exciting place to live for the last 10 years. For the viewers who are watching, for anyone who's interested in coming to Qatar, you should take that in mind, that it's an extremely safe place to live. There's lots of things to do here. The infrastructure is great, education's good, healthcare is good. And I actually have the privilege of having a day job which helps to settle all of our clients into the country. So it's something that we're passionate about, and it's something that works really well.
Come back to you in a minute. For those of you who don't know, Qatar is actually home to some of the world's globally recognized educational campuses. So in addition to the country's mandate to grow a highly skilled national workforce, the aim is to also attract the best of talent around the world to come work and live in Qatar. Asim, you're with the QFC, you're the Director of Client Affairs. Can you talk to us a little bit about your role?
Sure. So I get to look after all of our clients that we have on the platform. First and foremost, I'm part of the commercial team. We have a licensing process which welcomes all of our clients on board. And then I look after the team that does all of the post-licensing proposition in terms of looking after our clients, in terms of what they need, everything from immigration services to working with them to help develop their business a little bit more.
I mean, I'm very interested to know, if I'm an international investor looking to set up in Qatar, what is the licensing process like? What happens during that process? And how can client affairs support?
I think it's a great question. I think here in the QFC, we take a little bit of a different approach. The first thing is, as Kamal mentioned, we have UK common law, we're highly transparent. So from the point of view of a regulatory framework, I think it's really easy to understand how to operate within the QFC environment. We're very straightforward in terms of what we have to offer, 100% equity, which makes it a fantastic platform to be part of. Our in-house experts, I think, are fantastic, both in business development and in the licensing team, in terms of really working with the client on understanding what their business is, what their aspirations are, so that the licensing process can accommodate that. Now, once we go through the process of understanding what the business is and how they want to do business here in Qatar, once they submit an application, and we obviously talk digital in the same way that our clients talk digital. We have an online portal. Everything is submitted in a digital way. It's not a paper process. It's an automated process. We can offer clients licenses within a 3 to 5 working day period. So it's extremely fast, extremely efficient. But what I like most of all is it's extremely transparent.
Well, that's great. I think your mandate is in business together, and that definitely demonstrates that. What about the post-licensing? What happens when I'm a QFC firm? And I'm also sure that you hold a lot of networking events all year round for the QFC community. Can you talk to us a little bit about the support post-licensing and the client engagement afterwards?
Yeah. So I came here a year ago, and that was my job, was to really focus on what the post-licensing proposition was all about. And as you mentioned, we established the purpose of being in business together with our clients. And the reason we did that is, for me, first and foremost, is to drive client engagement. The QFC platform is as strong as the clients that are part of it. And PwC is a really good representation of that. So what we'd like to do is to offer a value proposition which at the basic level allows you to come into the country and settle, not just for yourselves, but for all of your employees. So we have a great immigration platform that can help with that, as well as offering partners and services that can allow you to facilitate easily anything from moving goods into the country to opening bank accounts, not just for your corporate account, but also for your employees as well. So we're starting to really drive that whole ethos of we're here to help and help you settle in the country. And then moving forward, it's about how we engage you, how we enable you to do business better. So can we create networking environments through events? Can we create topical conversations through our Fast Forward series, where we actually talk about digitalization, automation, topical issues, financial services, to start to create an environment where we're actually talking about doing business, and we're actually talking about developing and taking advantage of all those growth opportunities that were mentioned before. So that's our job. Our job is to facilitate. Our job is also to remove barriers. And our job is to drive engagement for our clients. So the customer experience journey at the QFC is one of its unique selling propositions, I think so. And I think if you take our role as a regulator, I think we're quite unique. And I think what we come up with, we measure our post-client satisfaction through an NPS survey. and we have a high rate of promotion. And the reason why is that I think the value proposition is really, really strong.
That's great. Thank you so much, Asim. Imagine yourself, you're an international investor. You come to one of the world's most dynamic economies. You have a fantastic client affairs team and business development team, happy to support you during your licensing process. But not only this, removing all the challenges and headaches post-licensing, moving your staff, getting immigration, getting through healthcare and education. It's all there as a one-stop shop with the Qatar Financial Center. We have an audience question here. Catherine from London, she has a question actually for Kamal. She'd like to ask you, Kamal, about what it is like to work in Qatar. Obviously, PwC is an international company. How has that been like for you? And what about workplace culture and diversity?
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine, with a very, very good question. And in fact, diversion and inclusion is one of the top agenda items on the global and regional strategy for PwC. In fact, we're now promoting a be well, work well, if you want, a mission whereby we kind of follow flexible working hours. You know, we have more for maternity leave, and you know, work from home initiatives, just to make you know, our employees more flexible and kind of feel PwC as a second home rather than just the office.
That's fantastic. We have another question actually to Asim Abdullah from Qatar. Actually, he pointed to a very, very important element that we can, I'm sure, explain more on now. QFC is part of a local ecosystem. At the end of the day, it was established as an onshore business and financial center to be part of the local economy and complement its growth. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So thanks, Abdullah. Really good question. Look, at the end of the day, we're part of a local market, and we ourselves, as part of our platform, we have 30% of our firms are local firms who are invested here. So our KPIs actually exist to actually generate growth for the local economy. So when we talk about 10,000 employees, it's really important that those 10,000 employees are all here, all contributing to the local market in terms of schooling, in terms of shopping, or whatever you might want to call it. And it's also part of a bigger picture. So we sit in Qatar as a big market. We represent one part of it, but there are some very successful local firms here, and it's really important that people understand that they play a big role in how to work with them, and the QFC can help with that as well. So I think, you know, it's a real celebration of what locally Qatar has to offer.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Asim. And now back to you, Sarah. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the Qatar Financial Center as a platform now. We all know that it has already passed halfway mark in terms of registering 1,000 firms by 2022. For organizations that may be considering establishing themselves in Qatar, more specifically at the Qatar Financial Center platform, what is the QFC Advantage? And what I'm most interested to hear about is the new and upcoming financial city.
The QFC offers a host of benefits. Firstly, it has 100% foreign ownership, and as well as 100% repatriation of profits with only a 10% tax on locally sourced profits. Another attractive benefit is our legal platform. It is one of the most transparent and efficient legal systems with virtual courts. So this is one of our key benefits and selling points to our clients. As well as the QFC offers a wide business network to over 600 firms. So there's opportunities, as Asim mentioned a little bit earlier, to engage with these firms and to potentially build business opportunities within this ecosystem that we have at the QFC. Currently, the QFC has over 45 office locations that it offers to its clients. But even more exciting is that the QFC will be centralized in the heart of Doha's financial district, Musharraf downtown Doha. It will be a huge buzz for the entire country and regionally, we believe, because it is set to be the next Wall Street of the Middle East. This district is actually the second smartest district globally, and we're very excited to be moving there with our clients and to have a centralized location.
That's great. The Qatar Financial Center boasts its own academy, the Qatar Finance and Business Academy, its own courts, and its own regulatory authority. But Sarah, can you tell us a bit more? What else differentiates the Qatar Financial Center from other jurisdictions in the region?
The QFC is uniquely positioned to have a different selling platform from other such platforms, if you will. And it's the fact that it's an onshore platform, which means that our firms, our clients, have access to Qatar's multi-billion-dollar market.
That's fantastic, actually. Business in Qatar and the QFC is better than ever, showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Sarah, I'm very interested to talk to you about the QFC strategy for 2022. It was recently announced by the Qatar Financial Center. It has several clusters of focus. It has ambitious growth targets. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yes, we recently announced our strategy. Apart from targeting 1,000 firms and 10,000 employees, we are now laser focused in the clusters that we are trying to bring to Musharraf downtown Doha. And these clusters include media, sports, financial services, specifically fintech, as well as the digital sector. And the reason we've chosen these sectors is because there is a huge opportunity in Qatar to have these clusters because of its untapped market and because of its great potential and its current landscape and investment in these sectors. So I believe the future is bright for these businesses, and if you represent one of these businesses, we hope that you'll take an opportunity to consider the QFC as your next platform to expand your business here in the Middle East.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Sarah. The Qatar Financial Center, since inception, has more than doubled in size. And with its new 2022 strategy, it's confidently moving to newer heights. My last question to you on the show today, what are you looking forward to the most for the Qatar Financial Center?
I'm looking forward to the QFC implementing its new strategy and achieving its ambitious targets, which we believe we can do, as well as bringing these new clusters here to Qatar, because we believe that the nation will support these clusters and that these businesses will be successful, as well as the QFC continuing to expand its partnerships, both locally and internationally. We already boast a host of these partnerships, but I believe there will be more to come.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to each and every one of you. Awesome, Kamal, you have given us such valuable insights as well into the Qatar's economy. I'm sure our audience will certainly agree that this is the most exciting time to be here in Qatar today. And to those of you who have tuned into our masterclass from all over the world, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here with us. From the team at the Qatar Financial Center, we wish you a great week ahead. Watch this space for more, and goodbye for now.